private enterprise, there's broadcasting as a public institution, and there's broadcasting as a state-owned monopoly, and of course those translate. In other words, the American, the British, and the German system. Yeah, those are my main book sources. Of course, there will be more in the net. Some last quotes. Again, from Heinz Pohle. This one I really have not translated, whatever. Der Deutsche Rundfunk im Weimarer Staate, seit seiner Gründung hoheitsrechtlich aufgezogen, wirtschaftlich und technisch abhängig von der Deutschen Reichspost, staatlich überwacht und bevormundet in seiner politischen und kulturellen Programmgestaltung, wurde nicht erst durch Neuregelung von 1932 ein Staatsorgan, sondern war als ein solches bereits in seiner 1926 erfolgten Konstituierung angelegt. What he says is, the German Broadcasting Organization was so much controlled from the beginning that when the Nazis took over, they really did not have to do much. All the censoring was already in place, all the controls were already in place, they just had to put their own people at the right spots and everything went fine. And another one, he tries to find reasons why in Germany it went this way. And he says, well, there were staatliche Überwachung, Scheu vor Verantwortung, Widerstand der insbesondere bürgerlichen Parteien. That is, governmental control. Nobody wanted to take responsibility for radio, this frightening thing, and the political parties were opposed to it. One of the consequences of this regarding amateurs was that although in the US amateurs were already in the 100,000s and not much later in the millions, amateurs in Germany stayed in the 3-digit numbers until after World War II. Really just a few hundred people being radio amateurs because they did not get much licenses, and the amateurs getting licenses were not given to individual peoples. Licenses for amateur radio broadcasting were only given to organizations like clubs, Vereine, universities. So, no radio amateurs in Germany, still. So I have some stuff I can add, but I would like to have questions first, or Does this remind anybody of anything happening today?
I guess I'm a radio amateur, and I guess regulation of this radio stuff in Germany will be worse in the near future, and is getting worse, as there are less radio amateurs, and so it's more and more regulated again by the Bundesnetzagentur. So less waves and any analog stuff has to be turned off by 2015, and as there are less radio amateurs, there is more regulation again.
Yeah, that's a point. It's funny because in the US, Herbert Hoover could not really do much against amateurs because he needed their support in Congress to get his legislation through. But here, where there are not many of them, you can do almost anything what you want. So I did not know that it's still that bad, but. Hey, anybody else?
I told you before that you can still experience some kind of really weird regulation where you actually do the license but you don't get your number because somebody doesn't like you in the Bundesnetzagentur. Such things happen. And it's really, when you have a problem with the Bundesnetzagentur, you're not likely to get an amateur license. Just to mention that.
Anybody else? Okay, then I'm going to tell you a quick anecdote from a slightly different field. Originally, I was doing research about magnetic tape, not about radio. And the thing is, magnetic tape was, to a high degree, developed to and brought to perfection in Nazi Germany. Why? Well, in Nazi Germany, magnetic tape made it possible to really, at last, completely control broadcasting. So every single thing that was sent over the airways was recorded on magnetic tape. Of course, that produced a big need for magnetic tape. The AEG and BASF, who produced it, were happy about it. And it was made sure that really in every broadcasting station there was a magnetic tape recorder and everything was documented. In the US, there was nobody interested in magnetic tape, at least, alas, not the radio stations, because at the time of World War II, the radio stations had established this networking system. So they made their money out of producing material and sending it over basically telephone wires to other stations who would send it to and would pay for it. If there had been magnetic tape in the US, this networking system would have been completely useless, because then you would have been able to record the programs and just transport them and copy them, by God. So the American radio stations made sure that magnetic tape was not getting anywhere in the US while it was brought to perfection in Germany for similar reasons. But yeah, so finished, I guess.